Hi, 6th grade. Happy Wednesday. We're going to finish up Perek Yud today. We're going to start and finish the 9th Makkah, so you'll have 9 out of 10 Makkah complete before you go to your Pesach Seder. As you saw in your translations, which you already submitted to me for today, before you watched the video, we have a very interesting Makkah to study today. So, let's get started. Please open your Chumash to Perek Yud, Pasuk Chaf Aleph, and we'll read together. Chaf Aleph. Vayomer Hashem el Moshe, Nitei yadcha al hashamayim. Hashem said to Moshe, stretch out your hand to the sky. Vayhi choshech al eretz Mitzrayim, and it will become dark in the land of Egypt. Vayamesh choshech, and the darkness will become thicker. Which you should notice is an interesting contrast of senses. Normally when we think of darkness, we think of the sense of sight, rather than the sense of touch, right? Choshech is the absence of sight, because you can't see anything. Whereas when we think of vayamesh, that something becomes thick, normally when we think of thick, there's something tactile, something you can touch. So, hold on to that thought. We'll do a Rashi shortly. Pasuk Chaf Bet. So what does Moshe do? Vayet Moshe et yado al hashamayim. Moshe stretches out his hand to the sky. Vayhi choshech afela b'chol eretz Mitzrayim shloshet yamim. And there was a very thick or gloomy darkness. Afela is like thick or gloom. In the whole land of Egypt for 3 days. Pasuk Chaf Gimel continues to tell us about this Makkah. Lo ra'u ish et achiv. One person was not able to see his brother, meaning his neighbor, meaning they couldn't see one another. V'lo kamu ish mitachtav. And nobody, a person could not get up from his seat, from where he was sitting. Shloshet yamim, for 3 days. U'lechol b'nei Yisrael, but for the Jews, Haya or b'moshvotam. There was light in their dwellings, in their homes. Now Rashi notices something very interesting about Psukim Chaf Bet and Chaf Gimel, which we have here on the screen in front of us. If you look at this screen, if you look at these Psukim, you might wonder, how long was Makat Choshech? So Chaf Bet tells us that there was a darkness over Egypt, Shloshet Yamim, for 3 days. And then Chaf Gimel tells us that people couldn't see each other and couldn't move from their seats for 3 days. So Rashi has a question. Is this the same 3 days and we're just repeating this concept twice? If so, why are we repeating it? Or perhaps there's something else going on. Why is the Torah repeating Shloshet Yamim twice? Why does it say that word twice? So let's look at Rashi together. This is Rashi in Pasuk Chaf Bet, Dibor HaMatchil Vayhi Choshech Afela Shloshet Yamim. Here we go. Rashi tells us, Choshech Shel Ofel. This was a thick darkness. Shelo Ra'u Ish et Achiv, where a person could not see his brother, Otan Shlosha Yamim. A person couldn't see each other for 3 days. Then Rashi tells us, look at the next word, Ve'od, and another Shloshet Yamim Achirim, another 3 days after that, so days 4, 5, and 6 of the Makkah. What was that? What did those 3 days look like? Choshech Muchpal al Zeh. Muchpal, it comes from the shoresh of Kefel, like Kefel means double, twice. It was double the darkness of before. So days 1, 2, and 3 was so dark you couldn't see anyone, that it took away your eyesight. But days 4, 5, and 6 was twice that. And how does the Torah describe those last 3 days of the Makkah? Shelo kamu ish mitachtav. The darkness was so thick that nobody could even move. So the first 3 days of the Makkah affected their sight, and the last 3 days of the Makkah also, in addition, affected their ability to move. That's what it means by Choshech Afela, a thick darkness. The darkness got even darker, that it went from becoming something that was merely affecting their eyesight to then also affecting their movements. Rashi continues. Yoshev ein yachol la'amod. Someone who was sitting couldn't stand. Ve'omed ein yachol le'shev. And someone who was standing couldn't sit. So basically, by the time the 4th day started, whatever position your body was in kind of stayed that way. I'm sure some of you have heard this idea before, that the darkness was so dark that they were frozen in their bodies were frozen. So then Rashi therefore explains why it says Shloshet Yamim twice, because it was two different sets of 3 days, right? The Torah is not telling us that the Makkah lasted for 3 days and it was the same for all 3 days. No, there were 2 rounds of it. First 3 days was very, very dark where they couldn't see each other. Second 3 days was so dark that they couldn't even move. Now Rashi has another question. V'lama hivi alehem choshech? And why did Hashem even bring this Makkah? Why this Makkah? Now Rashi gives us a really interesting answer. Really 2 answers. Let's see these 2 interesting answers. Answer number 1. Hashem brought darkness because Shehayu b'Yisrael ba'oto dor risha'im. That in this generation of Israelites, some of them were bad. What made them bad? Read the next line of Rashi. V'lo hayu rotzim latzeit. They did not want to leave Egypt. So what happened to them? Umetu b'shloshet yemei afela. These Jews, these Israelites died during the first 3 days of the thick darkness where people couldn't see one another. Okay? So again, day 1, 2, and 3 where you couldn't see one another, some Jews did die. The Jews who didn't want to leave. Rashi continues, Hashem had them die in those first 3 days, kidei shelo yir'u Mitzrayim b'mapalatam, so that Egypt would not see their downfall. Remember, what was affected the first 3 days was their sight. And it would have been embarrassing for the Jewish people if the Egyptians saw some Jews dying as a punishment. So Hashem affected the eyesight of the Egyptians during the first 3 days, so that during that time Hashem could take care of the Risha'im, the wicked Jews who didn't want to leave, but not embarrass them unnecessarily. Hashem didn't want to embarrass them, because what would the Egyptians say if they saw these Jews dying? V'yomru, they would have said, Afheim lokim kamonu. Oh look, even they are hit with the plague like us. That would have been shameful. V'od, and more so, we still have the second 3 days to contend with. So if the first 3 days affected their sight to stop the Egyptians from seeing the Jews' downfall, why did Hashem have the second 3 days that affected the Egyptians' ability to move, their mobility? What happened during days 4, 5, and 6 that Hashem needed to bring this kind of darkness? Shechipsu Yisrael. B'nai Yisrael, chapes. The chapes means to search. V'ra'u et klehem. The Israelites searched the Egyptians' homes and saw where all the things were. All the kalim, all the vessels, we're not like talking about like a simple plate. We're talking about like nice stuff, right? Like your china or your silver or your nice things. Why? Why did Bnei Israel go looking for these things? Because when they were to leave Egypt, which happens in 2 more prakim, we'll learn it after Pesach, they requested these items when they were leaving Egypt, right? As they were leaving Egypt, they turned to their Egyptian neighbors and said, "Oh, can I have that silver tray in your house?" So what would the Egyptians say? V'hayu omrim, ein biyadenu klum. The Egyptians would say, "We don't have anything. I don't know what you're talking. What silver tray? What are you talking about? I don't have gold candlesticks." But because Bnei Israel were able to search their houses without anyone stopping them because they were stuck in their places, Bnei Israel were able to say, Omer lo. They could respond to the Egyptians who claimed, "I don't have any riches." Bnei Israel could say, Ani re'itiv. Ani ra'iti oto. I saw it beveitcha, in your house. Uvimakom plonihu, in such and such place. Right? Ploni means such and such, this or that. Bnei Israel could say, I saw it specifically in this place during Makat Choshech, when you couldn't see and you couldn't stop me from moving, because you were frozen in place. And then they would be able to catch the Egyptians in a lie, right? The Egyptians would say, I don't have anything to give you, as they were leaving. And Bnei Israel would say, yes, you do. I know exactly where you have it. It's in this place, specifically. And the Egyptians would then have to give it to them. And that is why Hashem brought Makat Choshech, according to Rashi. For those 2 reasons. To save the Jews from being embarrassed when some of them died, and so that they could pinpoint the location of certain items that belonged to the Egyptians. Continuing in Pasuk Chavdalid, Vayikra Paro el Moshe. Paro calls Moshe, Vayomer, and says, L'chu ivdu et Hashem. Go, serve your God. Rak tzonchem uvekarchem yutzag. But only leave behind your flocks and your cattle. Gam tapchem yelechi machem. Even your kids can go. If you remember the last time he told them they could go after Makat Arbe, he said, no, leave the women and children behind, only the men can go. But now Paro is saying, okay, fine, your children can go, you can go, but leave behind the cattle, and leave behind your sheep. Again, Paro is still holding on to this little bit of control that he thinks he has. So what does Moshe respond? Pasuk Chav Hey. If my slides are working. Hold on, what? Oh. Let's go back. Pasuk Chav Hey, Vayomer Moshe. Moshe says, Gam atat titein biyadenu zvachim va'olot. No. We're gonna take our flocks, we're gonna take our sheep and our cattle, and not only that, Gam ata, even you will, titein biyadenu, will give us zvachim va'olot, animals to serve up as zvachim is from the same word as mizbeach, to sacrifice. Va'asinu la Hashem Elokeinu, and we will give these to, we will make these for our God. Chavav, v'gam miknenu yelechimanu, and our cattle will come with us. Lo tisha'er parsa, not a single hoof will be left behind. Ki mimenu nikach, because from those animals we will take la'avodet Hashem Elokeinu. Those are the animals we're going to serve as sacrifices to Hashem. So we're not leaving them behind just because you asked them to. We're going to take them. And guess what? You're also going to give us your own stuff. Your own animals. Right? We're going to take all of our stuff. We're not going to only take specific animals because we don't know how many we're going to give to Hashem as a sacrifice. So we're going to take all of them with us because maybe we'll need all of them. So don't tell us we're going to leave stuff behind, Paro. You don't get to control this scenario. We do, Moshe says. We're taking it all with us. We're not leaving anything behind. Not even a single parsah, not even a single hoof of an animal. Pasuk Chav Zayin. But what does Hashem do? Vayechazek Hashem et lev Paro. Hashem hardens Paro's heart. V'lo avalo shalcham. And he did not want to send them out, to let them go. Pasuk Chav Chet. Vayomer lo Paro. Paro says to Moshe, Lech me alai. Leave me. Get out of my sight. Hishamer lecha. I warn you. Hishamer, like shomer. To guard, protect yourself, he says to Moshe. Al tosef ra'ot panai. Don't continue. Don't come back to see my face. Ki biyom ra'otcha panai tamut. Because the next time you see my face, you are going to die. I will kill you. Be gone. Don't ever see my face again. I don't want to see your face around here. So Moshe responds, Chavtet, Vayomer Moshe, Kain dibarta. Okay. Yes, you've said it. Lo osif od ra'ot panacha. I will not see your face again, Moshe says. Paro is done. He's giving Moshe the ultimatum. Paro's really very much losing control here. And he's thrown in the towel and basically saying, that's it, you've gotten to me. I'm going to kill you next time you see me. I'm not even negotiating with you anymore. And Moshe says, okay, so be it. End of the parak. Ends on a very dramatic note. Please fill out the Google form, your check for understanding, so I know how you guys are doing. Just a note on that. When you get your so-called grade right after you take it, it's probably going to mark almost all of them as wrong because you haven't written them out exactly the same way that I did in the answer key. I go back and I manually review all of them afterwards. So wait until you see an email from me or a returned grade. You guys have been doing really well on them so far. And please continue asking questions in the chat box, in the comments boxes underneath. I really loved the discussion we had from Tuesday's lesson. Yona and Miriam noticed some really good stuff in the Psukim, so check that out for a little bit extra. And please be in touch. I hope to see you guys on Thursday during office hours. And study your Shorashim. You have a quiz on Friday. Bye.